And there are many layers to this.
So what
and
you say
therefore,
actually that the actors
yes,
were not up to it?
I'm saying something else because that would not be nice towards the actors. No,
Don't
I
be
love
nice.
my actors. No, I love my actors. But as human beings...
Yes, they were not strong enough
well,
to carry the burden of this type of emotions that you forced on them.
not that I forced on them, but it
That
came, they found within themselves, and
through
this
your
therefore...
instigation, through
well,
your,
absolutely, yes.
What can you say about the period of rehearsal? Was it tough? Was it too demanding?
For me, it was terrifying for the first couple of weeks.
Yes.
But after that, I grew to enjoy it immensely. I was having a ball, and,
yes,
and the performances were wonderful for me. I'd never.
Yeah, but during rehearsals, you had many sort of difficulties with the cast.
Yeah.
How did you feel about this?
It was, for me, because I was undertaking such a mammoth task in such a short period of
Yes.
time. I think we had 3 weeks rehearsal.
Oh, no, only?
I think it was 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks at the most. And so, aside from learning all the lines and just
Yes.
preparing myself for the part, I tried to shut myself off as much as possible.
You weren't involved?
It was impossible not to be involved.
How come?
Well, Hovhanness and I became pretty close, obviously, and so it was. I was sharing his worries, and he was sharing mine. And
isn't it a director really should either pick his actors very carefully, that they'll be able to do whatever he wants them, even physically and of course emotionally and psychologically. So you didn't pick your actors carefully enough.
Not really, because this is something beyond individual problems. This is something beyond, say, choosing an actor, etc. Of course, if you have experienced actors
it's not
who have
sort
a
of,
better...
the hands of God that sort of were put on it and a Satan or whatever.
No. Because if you bring the actors to the deepest levels of human awareness and consciousness,
But they have...
and human emotionality, that releases forces which are, of course, very difficult to control.
But they are not ready to do it.
So then, therefore, of course, you need experience, etc., etc. But then you will have to end up by casting all with wise men, or take Hindu sort of yogis and so on to do it. But you can't.
You're probably the kind of director that should take the actor to begin with, train them for your type of theatre.
Quite true.
And afterwards, ask them to do what you ask them to do. If you go to a Grotowski theatre, or if you've been to the Grotowski theatre, you know that they are trained to go through these difficulties, the psychological.
You put your finger on it, absolutely.
And he had a few actors, sadly, in the production that weren't as understanding as they might have been. Right? Yeah. That's my opinion again.
It was your first and great chance, and couldn't you help to stick everything together and hold everything? I mean,
well, I was trying to. I was really attempting to do that all the way through, but there was an atmosphere of madness about the whole thing.
How? I don't really see how. Not yet.
I don't know how it came about.
I have tried to bring so-said Bruckian, Grotowskian type of theatre to the commercial or rather classical
and
theatre.
Doing it in 3 weeks.
Well, yes,
this is impossible. Therefore, you can't actually find actors in this country to do your type of theatre.
I shouldn't say it.
Well, what do you mean? And then you go and you say, you want to work with you worked with Derek Jacobi, you worked with Keith Michel, etc.
Yes.
This is why. I mean, wasn't the process in Oedipus as deep, arousing, or whatever?
Correct.
How come this one came off?
Because there two other things happened. I mean, all my productions had such problems because in the end they cannot cope with it because of the depth and the emotional temperature.
I still don't understand how it disintegrated. I mean, people started to leave actually the production?
Yes. It got to a stage where, on a couple of occasions, we had very small audiences. We maybe had 4 or 5 people in the audience one day. And so I think a couple of the cast members started feeling that it wasn't a professional production in some ways, and weren't taking it as seriously as perhaps they should have done. I think the actor playing...
How do you feel about it?
I was outraged.
If there are nowadays, if there are 3 or 4 or maybe 50,
I think
or maybe 500.
If anybody's paid to come and see a show, you've got to do the show for them. You have to do. They've earned the right to watch the show.
Yeah.
Why did Ophelia left?
Oh yes.
Why did she leave? I mean, how come an actress goes in the middle of a play which can be very successful?
Yes, and Ophelia.
You don't want to talk about don't, but I don't understand it.
He made it very clear that sex, lust, was of course, the predominant motive behind the brother killing, the then king and Gertrude's husband, and sex was rampant between him and her, and then Hamlet and Ophelia.
But why did this girl leave? I mean, was she? I mean, couldn't she handle the part?
Yeah, but you see, she was so much the part because she was pregnant. In real
she was
life.
pregnant herself.
Yeah, people were expecting a pillow to come under this. No, she was pregnant. So, in her just possibly weeks before her birth, giving birth, doing this part, that really took over completely. I mean, she was so powerful in play. I mean, she was very good about it. And also, her husband was a bit of a problem.
Why? Was he on the play? Was he an actor?
See, he was a bit of a... He tried to make problem because suddenly he saw his wife that's expecting his baby being so powerful and be the woman we have never seen before. I mean, it was a woman like a Greek drama, a Minoan woman. Suddenly, the interest was the mother-to-be. It was child-orientated society. Suddenly, the children. So suddenly, the husband couldn't recognize his own wife on the stage. He was upset.
You know that when we came to this country, Peter
Brook,
Brook, for example, some of his actors committed suicide. I mean, these are...
So?
Well, I mean, I'm glad at least that my actors didn't commit suicide.
Well,
but that's not...
This is very good for
So Grotowski's actors had problems. They go berserk and they go probably, lunatic, etc. But at least I make sure that my actors destroy my production rather than themselves.
Oh. It did seem as if there was a quality about the sort of clashes that happened during this that was very different from anything else I've experienced before.
In what way?
It was very heartfelt. Everyone was very passionate about their own point of view about things.
Yes.
And there was a general sense of, at one point, there was a sense of hatred around the building, for little factions clashing and some of the actors hating Hovhanness.
Like a Venetian sort of court.
Yes,
like a Hamlet court.
A revolution. It was a revolution. A mutiny,
This was to do with Hovhanness wanting to video the production. And we had an actor there who was very sort of union-minded. And so he got as many as he could, I think, in the production that felt strongly about this, that no, we were not going to have it video unless we had it written into our contract or something, or the agents knew about it, so that if it was shown in Timbuktu, on video, they would get whatever they were due to get and all this.
What I remember was when these actors came to attack me, you were here and suddenly you plunged between me and the actors just like that. He suddenly
saved your life.
He came after kind of doing this dive. He suddenly bundled me just like a security guy. He's just trying to lift me up and pushed me into a kind of room.
I put him in a dark room and closed the door. And then I took everybody down and he goes, no, get me out. He didn't know. He was, they're going to attack him. He doesn't realize it, you see. Nobody was realizing. So he was knocking at the door, open the door, I said, let me out.
He comes in and says, no, give me that video. I said, Mano, this is the only video I have, the only thing, it's an amateur video. No, you said, give it to me, and then I gave it to you, and then... Yes.
Frankly, I believed him. I utterly believed him, and but this caused a great ruckus.
It's like a piece of meat thrown to the lions. He just took this video and gave it to McKennitt.
And he ate it.
And he ate it. Absolutely. He ate it. He destroyed my video. Did they step on it or something? Sweet little videotape which was completely amateur. I mean, it had nothing to do with, I said, look, this is entirely amateur. This is a family video.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't, you know, take it, and it's just upset me so. But I remember Manos died just like sideways.
Had it not been a fringe production, would it be different?
If it had been a fringe production,
was it a fringe production?
Well, it was at the Shaw Theatre, right? And really,
yeah, but this is just a venue. When people say, "All right, I'm now in the National Theatre," and therefore, if I'm in the National Theatre, I mean, the director
it's got
could
to go
blow
on.
his head
Yes.
off. And
if it had been, would everybody have just gone on? Very likely, I think they would have.
If it was in the West End, people would be fired on the spot, and if they did that.
And they would be frightened to be fired, therefore it won't happen, actually.
Sure.
So it boils up at the end to just, I mean, it's all about actors.
Neuroses, friction.
Yeah, friction.
Both sides of the stage.
It's about personality and sort of temper, yeah.
Yes.
And
Which is what theatre is about, anyway.
Yeah, yes.
Internal wrangling. Yeah. Very sad.
It was a Hamlet within a Hamlet, sort of, you know.
Yes.
A Jacobean play within a Jacobean.
That's right.
Sort of
That's
play.
exactly what it
Exactly
was.
what it was.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you go through the whole thing again?
Oh yes.
Yes?
Yes. Oh, of course I would.
Yeah.
Yes. It was.
Robert Edmund Jones has designed this setting for Barrymore's famous Hamlet in 1925, and this is Kronborg Castle, Elsinore, where in 1937 an outdoor production of Hamlet was performed with Laurence Olivier.
You seem to bring me every time to a ruinous place.
Yeah.
You said that it has something to do with your production.
Yeah,
What was it?
yeah. The theatre,
Yes.
which was in the name of George Bernard Shaw,
Yes.
in fact was here, and it makes me very sad to say that probably definitely my production was the last important production here. And it almost like closed down the theatre.
Woo! This is amazing!
Oh my God! Wow! This is amazing! I told you this was a very good theatre. It was, it is not less than West End theatre.
They had balconies up here, which we're not using anymore for seats because the whole structure of the building changed. So there's no more public access to the balconies over there. So just that's where we're going to have it.
But it looks beautiful, even if it's.
I think like this. I think like this with the scaffold. It's I mean, I like scaffolds.
I mean, you can do a sound and what do you call it? Solid lumiere.
Just a few minutes before you told me, Steve, that you've died here in this place 7 years ago. How come?
Well, this is the Shaw Theatre. This is in London on the Euston Road. This was the venue for the production of Hamlet.
And actually, so you died 21 times.
21 or 23 times, I think, yeah. 23 including matinees. I died just over there, right at the back.
Can you describe the Victorian for me? Just make it alive a little bit, give it colours.
Compared to sort of West End theatres, it was quite a bare place. A big black empty space for the stage, just raised as it is here. The auditorium was very dark. The seats were red velvet.
Do you feel at all sentimental when you're sitting here now?
It's hard to relate to it, to be honest. It's it's
wonderful. It's like a set.
so different. At the time, I remember walking out onto the stage for the first time when we came here for the first sort of dress rehearsal, and it was awesome. It was the perfect space for this production.
The whole theatre is the castle.
The whole theatre, you see. And here, imagine the ghost appearing here. This is Steve. Have you seen this? Yeah. It's very interesting. The stairs which go down like that.
Why don't you go down?
I don't know. What was this?
Go.
I don't know.
Yeah, go. I don't know. Go.
Oh my God.
So come.
These stairs must be kept clear of all that at all times. But what was this on the old television?
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Oh, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why? How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me, I know! Help!
What? Oh, help! How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat! Dead! This place has not fared well at all. Whatever's happened here in the past has kind of ended in failure or disaster.
Yes.
Look you here upon this picture, and upon this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself. An eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this?
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest my eyes into my very soul. Oh. And there I see such dark and grained spots as will not leave their tomb.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, honeying and making love over the nasty sky.
Oh, no more, sweet Hamlet. Oh, these words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more.
A murderer and a villain, a cutpurse of the empire and the rulers, from a shelf the precious diadem stolen and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches.
No.
Save me and hover over me with your wings, you gracious gods. What would your gracious figure?
He is mad.
How is it with you, lady?
Oh, alack, how is it with you? Do you bend your eye on vacancy and with the incorporeal air hold discourse? Oh, force at thine eyes, thy spirits wildly peak, and as with the soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair, like life in excrements, do start and stand up. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience, whereon
Do you know?
On him! On him! Look you how pale he glares! Do you see nothing there?
No, nothing, but all there is, I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there. Look how it steals away. My father! In his habit as he lived.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation, ecstasy, is very cunning.
Ecstasy. Mother, for love of grace, confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it and leave the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. And when you are blessed, desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent. I must be cruel, only to be kind. This bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek. Call you his mouse. And let him, for a pair of reachy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Oh, be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
That's a famous European Hamlet, Miklos Gabo, playing the part in Budapest, 1935.
Baggies and by Saint's charity, all laugh and fight for shame.
That's Basil Sidney, 10 years earlier in Broadway, playing Hamlet in a modern dress version.
Young men will do it if they come to it. By cock they are to blame.
You see that we have now any clue to what the production looked like, because A, we don't have any photographs left.
And all these photographs were taken, and they disappeared. Goodness knows where they disappeared to. So none of us have any record.
But you tried to recover them somehow.
I did try.
And what happened?
Well, the answer I got was they're not there. You know, all the photographs plus the negatives. So I heard from a friend of the photographer, a very close friend of hers, which is one of the actors. They were all given to the producer, and he begged and begged to get them back, and he didn't ever. But it seems strange to me that a photographer would give up his negatives, his or her negatives, to anybody. But there you go.
If I want to track them down, who do I go to?
Then you need to go to the producer, you know, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
There is one mystery which I'll have to ask you about. It is a very great mystery. Some photographs were taken. Yes. Where are they?
You yourself, I mean, you had